Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we have another Disney Sorcerer's Arena video, and we are going to be discussing Club Conquest. There's a lot to discuss here, so we're going to go ahead and dive into it right now. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. So Club Conquest, we have a brand new one starting today. We are in the preparation phase. We are going to go through each phase of Conquest, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way within the last year of playing this game. And it's probably a little bit easier than you think. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it right now, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. First and foremost, who do we have here? We have the Vindicators. We have the Homo Pride Woohoo Deluxe Club, the Vindicators 3, and Kuzco's Poison. That's us. All right, so taking a look at this. So a lot of people have compared this to Chinese checkers. It very much looks like it, kind of. You just need another one to kind of go over the top of it. So when it comes to this, the tips and tricks really come into the strategy rather than the actual gameplay. So if you take a look at everything that we've talked about so far, so I put a video out to discuss the top 10 characters of the game and the tier list. That's going to come into play. I put a video out on placement. That is going to come into play as well. Also put a video out on a farming guide. That is going to come into play as well. So everything that we've been discussing really over the last week or two is will transfer over into this, and it applies the exact same way to everything else in the game. So your placement, who you choose, things like that, all come into play here. So that is all the same. What it really comes into is knowing some of the ins and outs of the game. The best place to go, just right off the bat, we're going to hit this eye right here, and we're going to go into this. This is where you're going to find out all the information that you really need to know about Club Conquest. So right now, right here is the schedule. The schedule is good to know. So right now we are in the registration and planning stage, right? So there we go, planning stage. Saturday from 12 p.m. to 8 a.m. Sunday morning. So tomorrow morning, we are going to start the attack phase. Now, all these times are in Pacific Daylight Time. So just a heads up there. So it works out really well for me because that's my time. And then you have all these different phases that you run through. As far as requirements to participate, right there, only clubs with at least 10 registered members can participate in Club Conquest. So one of the things is make sure you go in there and you register. So you go. I'm going to go out of here real quick. And before this started, you had a button over here on the right in order to register. Make sure that you do. Once you do it the first time, you don't have to register after that because you will already be registered. You would need to unregister if you didn't want to be part of the next conquest. So make sure that you register, and then you want to set your defenses. When you do that, you go into here, and you want to go ahead and build up your teams. I think it's 10 teams, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you got 10 different teams in here. I got to redo mine. These are old. But make sure you fill this entire 10. Fill all 10 or fill however many that you have. Full teams with spells. And even if you get all the way down here towards the bottom and you only have 2 characters and no spells, put them in there because it's going to help. It's an enemy that your opponents are going to have to defeat and make their way to catch that tower. And we'll discuss how all that works here in a second. But make sure, dump your entire roster in here. And make sure everybody in your alliance, everybody in your club, everybody do it. Make sure you do that. All right, let's go back into here. So that's the requirements, the registration phase we just discussed. Defensive teams and defending bases. So whoever you put down for a defensive team, a few things you want to keep in mind. You want to keep in mind synergies, how the different characters interact with each other, because you want to build valid teams and good teams that are going to make your opponent think strategy and things like that on how to defeat your team. Also, take into consideration placement. Putting your tanks up front, your support out back, keeping your tanks on one side of your on one side of your field and keeping your support on the other side of the field. Make sure you take a look at that. If you haven't seen the placement video, definitely take a look at it because it's important when it comes to all the different types of damage that are in this game. Flanking damage, AoE damage, chaining damage, adjacent damage. It's all important, and the better you understand that and placement, the more successful you're going to be in any game mode. All right, so defensive teams. Throw your entire roster in there because it doesn't matter. You throw everybody in there, you're going to be able to use all of your characters in order to attack. It is not one of those games where whoever you put down for defense is not going to be able to attack. It is not that. So just go ahead and dump all of your teams in there. You're going to be able to attack with them. Now, during this conquest, during each conquest, you can only use those characters once as an attacking team. So if you have one team, you go ahead and you attack with them, whether you win or lose, you are going to no longer be able to use that team. So make sure that you use the save team feature in here. It's going to be really helpful for you. Use the save team feature in this game in order to build those teams and quickly choose between the different teams. That's going to help quite a bit. All right, so you've got your defending teams, you've got your attacking teams. So when it comes to attacking the different bases, what it is you're going to have different select bases that you're going to be able to attack. A lot of clubs, what they do is they'll strategize this, saying, all right, we need to attack, like over here for the Vindicators 3, we need to attack A10. Everybody attack A10 until you take over that. Once you take over a tower, once you take over one of those bases, then it's going to go into a rebuild phase that takes an hour in order to rebuild. That's when you're going to be able to go ahead and throw your defenses in there and start defending that tower as well. So, all right, so we got that. So there's our defending, there's our attacking. We're going to talk a little bit more about defending here in a minute. The capturing bases we discussed right there, but it's all right there as well. Now your conquest points here. A few bullet points to point out in here. Clubs earn 1 conquest point each minute for each base that they control that is connected to their headquarters. So we're all going to start out here. If a club controls 13 or more bases, they will earn an additional 10 conquest points per minute. So depending on the total number of bases that you have, right up there, plus 0 per minute, it's going to tell you how many points per minute you're going to get. And Club Conquest is going to go until either you get to the end of the Club Conquest. So if we go ahead and take a look at this, go back up here, we're going to go into the Gathering Rewards phase. So what? Thursday, attack phase ends Thursday at midnight. Then you're going to go ahead and go into the Gathering Rewards. Club Conquest ends in one of two ways. You just max out the timer and you go all the way into Friday on that, or somebody hits the max points first. Now, if we take a look at here's the points. Successfully defending against an attack awards the defending player's club 5 conquest points. That's something to keep in mind as well. If they fend off your attack, they're going to get 5 conquest points. So one of the clubs that I was in early on in beta, if you failed an attack, you wanted to let them know so that they knew kind of how to strategize. A whole lot of strategy can go into this, and keeping track of that is also a very good thing. Successful attacks award the attacking player 15 club points. So keeping track of all that is really good when you're trying to really strategize and bring everybody together and get coordinated. So just like any other Alliance War, Club War type game mode, communication, coordination is key. Now, chat in the game is horrible for that, so I suggest Discord or some other third-party program, database, or whatever for you to communicate, so that you can strategize, is going to be key to your success in Club Conquest. We have a regroup phase that comes up where nobody can do anything, and no points are scored either in this one here. No points are generated at all. And then you have your rewards. So those are the different phases here. I can't remember max points right now, but those are the different phases right there of that. Now, some of the strategy too that comes into play is how you structure your defenses. So let's just say maybe this entire front row, you put your strongest teams. This middle row, you put some middle of the road to low level teams. In this back row, you pound with very high level teams so that your opponent is grinding through. I mean, it's like a meat grinder going through that, right? There's also a strategy where people will put easy opponents on the two outer sides, and then again on the end here, this B3, B2, and B1. The outer sides I was talking about, B12, 7 and 3, and B8, 4 and 1, to funnel everybody in to like a false sense of security. And this then B3, 2, and 1 is like our hard hitting teams. Something else to also keep in mind when you are filling out your different towers is you want to make sure that you even out your power level. So if I take a look at a tower here, and we're not fully done here, but if we take a look at this, so I've got a power level 1474 team right there up at the top. Now, I could create a team that is up into the 3000s for power, but if that's my strongest team, and then every single team after that is going to be in the low 20s or teens, then I'm losing an opportunity there. You want to use your power level or spread your power level to a point across multiple teams so that you don't just have a couple teams that are super high powered that some teams are going to have to chew through, and then everybody else is super weak. So kind of even out your power levels right there as well. So definitely go in here, make sure you're registered, fill out your defenses so that every single character in your roster is there, and then work with your club leaders to place your defenses in the best way possible. All right, and there you go, everybody. That's what I had for you today. Hopefully that was helpful for you. And definitely let me know in the comment section below thoughts, questions, things that you might have, tips and tricks that you might have for Conquest as well, so that we can help everybody out there. All right, everybody, as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.